Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of My Book of Mormon, still in the Doctrines and Covenants edition, with me, David Michael, and of course, our co-host,
Bryce Blankenagel. Thanks for having me. I almost said David Michael, like I was David Michael. I don't know. That was kind of a weird moment, like a paradox inside of my brain. I don't know what happened. Anyway, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
What do they say? Imitation is the highest form of flattery or something along those lines? Anyway, so thanks.
Yeah, but I can't quite do the David Michael voice. So,
you can.
Oh, well.
You can try. It'd be fun for an episode to see how low you can get your voice, but, Anyway. So, yeah, this is episode 101, and our 100th episode, Bryce, boy, we got quite a bit of praise for that. And I don't know if you and I get to take as much credit, but, boy, everyone seemed to like having Chuck and Matt on. I certainly enjoyed it. I'm glad.
Oh, me too. I mean, those guys, at least Chuck knows his shit. But, I mean, Matt was always quick with the jokes, too. I mean, that was one of the more fun times I've ever had recording anything. That was a good fun there.
Oh, I know. And I really think that Matt could have done this entire show that I'm doing with the way that he reads. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah. He puts the emphasis on the right places, and oh yeah, it was enthralling. It was an all-encompassing experience to have him reading. Even if it was, only for dogs to hear.
Right. Well, we also had someone compliment you personally on holding back your potty mouth or something to that effect. It was a comment on the website that said, "We really appreciate Bryce trying." And then less than 30 seconds in, you dropped another beep for me. So thanks for holding it back. Anyway, whatever.
Thank you for noticing somebody, whoever your faceless commenter. I appreciate that because, sometimes we talk on topics that are a little intense that I like to, unleash the full double barrels of my vitriol towards the church. But alas, that's not the point of this show. That's what I have my own show for.
Well, I got another email this week from another TBM that said, really enjoying the show. Fascinating to hear. I'm still fascinated by that. But anyway, it is what it is. So yeah, we'll keep it clean. So we, keep all the listeners that we have. And, although, whether it's clean or not, we definitely still have our drinking game, and that's never going anywhere. That will exist as long as this show exists. I promise everyone. We will never take that away. If we run out of words, we'll just have more. Maybe we'll be up to like 20 words by the time this is done.
Oh, there's always much more. Like, I might as well tell this. We're a few episodes into this, but originally when it started out, the drinking game that I was hoping for was not Behold. It was, any time that it said, "I am the Lord your God," or it like claimed to be God, that's when I was drinking for like the first 3 episodes, and I was just getting super hammer smashed off of them.
Yeah, back to the heavenly caller ID for Joe, just to make sure he knows who he's talking to. Right. That would have been the drink. Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably leave some people with severe alcohol poisoning by the end of it. So maybe it's not the best idea. But if we ever run shy of any other words, we can always throw that one in the game.
Well, yeah, certainly. For all of you at home, if you want to create your own word to drink along to, knock yourself out. Nothing stopping you. Anyway. Oh, and Bryce, by the way, you actually missed a Behold, and none of us called you out on it last time. No.
I didn't hear that, but that's kind of I'm a little bit ashamed that I had missed it.
Well, 2 episodes ago, I missed one, and you gave me so much crap for it, so I just had to dish a little bit back to you. So, what are you gonna do? And I could have edited in a drink, could have done that, but whatever. The world needs to know that you're not perfect, Bryce. Because so far they've had no evidence. So now they.
Oh, of course not. No, they haven't picked up on all the other mistakes that I made, like saying Hugh Nibley was somebody that critiqued the CES letter, even though he's been dead for like 20 years. It was Brian Hales. Brian Hales. That was the guy I was thinking of, not Hugh Nibley. Brian Hales.
Not only that, obviously Chuck immediately corrected you, right?
Which I'm glad he did.
Yeah, so immediate correction. But then there were still people on the website saying, "You're wrong about that, Bryce." It's like, I think he knows.
And I was face palming my face off when it happened too, because I was like, no, that's not the right person. I'm an idiot.
Yeah. I could have cut the whole thing out, but oh well. All right, well, let's start reading because we're just going to go babbling on forever.
Yeah, we should do that eventually.
So we're starting with section 7 of the lovely Doctrines and Covenants, the D&Z. And, all right, so I guess as always, I'll start out with my intro. You let me know if yours is very different. And for those of you that are just tuning in now, weird that you would start here. But if you are, what you should know is that Bryce is reading from the original Book of Commandments, 1833 publication, correct? I get all that right?
That is correct.
All right. And I'm reading from the latest and greatest Doctrines and Covenants downloaded from the LDS people. Yeah.
Which was, there we go. I think, published, just for clarification's sake, I think that was 2013.
Lovely.
A little bit of a difference in the time frames there from publishing.
No.
You're on like edition infinity at this point.
Probably. Actually, if somebody wants to do that, if somebody just wants to figure out how many different editions there were, that would be interesting. But anyway.
Oh, that would be delightful. I would love it if somebody
All
did
right.
that.
So here we go. Anyway. Section 7, intro. Revelation, shocker, given to Joseph Smith, the prophet, and Oliver Cowdery at Harmony, Pennsylvania, April 1829. So once again, it's saying that Joseph and Oliver are getting the revelation, but it sure doesn't read that way. It reads like Joseph's getting it, and he's telling Ollie, but anyway.
Yeah, and mine just says to Joseph and Oliver, so that's a distinguishing feature between yours and mine, as mine sounds like it's given to both of them at the same time.
Yeah, so does mine.
As opposed to given through Joseph.
Yeah, it says given to Joseph Smith and Oliver Cowdery. But my point is, when you actually read the revelation, it doesn't sound that way. It sounds more like it's being given to Joe and he's telling Ollie. But anyway. Yeah. All right. When they inquired through the Urim and Thummim, look at that. They, both of them. Shocking. Anyway, as to whether John, the beloved disciple, tarried in the flesh or had died. Okay. The revelation is a translated version of the record made on parchment by John and hidden up by himself. Okay, so these are not the legendary 3 Nephites, right? So this is someone else that they're wondering if he's immortal or not?
No, this is good old John the Beloved. Yeah, this is not the 3 Nephites. And just for just to draw the line between yours and mine, yours was more confusing than mine, and mine had a lot less words.
Okay.
So mine just said, when they desired to know whether John the Beloved disciple tarried on earth, translated from parchment, written and hid up by himself.
Huh.
So it's a lot simpler. It doesn't say anything about the Urim and Thummim. They decided to just throw that in there later. And then it didn't say whether he tarried on earth or he passed on or whatever you just said. Mine just said tarried on earth.
So let me just see if I can understand the physical nature of what's happening here, okay? So Joe and Oliver are looking at some rocks, right? That's Urim and Thummim. They are rocks, right? That's what they are?
Yeah. Yes. When you say it that way, it just sounds ridiculous.
So looking at some rocks, and then somehow there's a parchment that gets thrown. Where's the parchment? Do they have this parchment?
So the story is when when Joseph was translating the plates, when people do identify with, he wasn't wearing a breastplate and had on a pair of glasses, when they just say he was translating with the Urim and Thummim, he would see a phrase that would appear on parchment in front of his eyes, and then it would have a phrase on it, and he would read it to Oliver. Then Oliver would write it down and read it back to Joseph, and then Joseph would say, yes, that's correct, or no, it's not correct, and then they would, go until it was perfect, until it was correct. I get that. And then they move on.
Again, I'm still confused. He's looking at rocks, and so when he's looking at the rocks, like it then like magically shows him a piece of paper?
Yeah, it just like a piece of paper manifests, a magic parchment manifests in front of Joseph's eyes.
Scotty just beams it in, and there it is.
Yeah, pretty much, right into the stovepipe hat.
So he could have said anything. So he's just looking for, because the Book of Abraham or whatever, that was actually, some sort of Egyptian papyri that actually existed, right? He bought it some carnival or something like that.
Yes.
But this is not like, he's not claiming that he had this parchment that John, the beloved apostle or whatever, he's making no claim that he actually had that in himself. He's just saying, I looked at the rock and then it beamed in this parchment that I saw for a minute, wrote it down, and then it voiped away again, I guess.
Yes, that, as far as I'm aware, I think that's how it's talked about. However, at the time, Joseph may have been claiming that he was seeing the parchment, much like he was looking in the rock in the hat, and he would see the golden plates buried in the hill, or he would see things buried in the hill. He might have been seeing the parchment that way and saying that this was a physical parchment, much like he was claiming that the gold plates were physical. But I honestly don't know. I just know how it's kind of interpreted today, whereas it would just sort of like glow in his hat, the phrase on a piece of paper, and then he would read it.
Can we just take a moment of silence to just think about how ridiculous all of this sounds? I mean, really, that is, like, I don't think anyone ever, I think people that believe this stuff just kind of breeze through this intro thing. You know what I mean? Like, even I did at the end when I first read it. I was like, okay, parchment, John, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, wait, John's still alive? What's going on here? Didn't even notice this, like, how does this work? I mean, how does it actually function that you're looking in a hat at some rocks and somehow there's a paper that it's just, I don't know. He could have looked in there and said anything. Hey, I see the 10 commandments, and turns out there were 12 of them. Here's the next 2. Like, he could have said anything, right?
And he did. He did say he saw anything. That was the whole premise with the whole seer stone. What he was using it for was they would just go digging in the ground because he's like, oh, I could see some treasure over there, and my leg is too busted up to be able to help dig, so I'll just sit over here on the ground and tell you guys where to dig. That was his motif, man. That was what he did.
All right, well, let's get back in the game here, and I'm just gonna say, sure, this is happening.
But no, yeah, thanks for pointing it out, because it is utterly and completely ridiculous.
Okay. Just making sure it wasn't just me. All right.
Oh, no.
All right, why don't you start out here with verse 1.
All right. And the Lord said unto me, John, my beloved, what desirest thou? And I said, Lord, give unto me power, that I may bring souls unto thee. And the Lord said unto me, Verily, verily, double drink. I say unto thee, because thou desirest this, thou shalt tarry till I come in my glory.
Sorry. Juvenile giggle there. Go on.
And for this cause, the Lord said unto Peter, juvenile giggle, if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee?
All right, hold on a second. I'm just going to, before you go too much further, mine has a ton more stuff than yours. So going back to verse 1, after you said, John, my beloved, what desirest thou? Mine had, for if you shall ask what you will, it shall be granted unto you. So this is, which I believe is this is all in the Bible, right? This section?
Yeah. I think this whole thing is just straight up plagiarized.
No. Okay, so he said, and then I said unto him, Lord, give me power over death, that I may live and bring souls unto thee. So that little phrase was thrown in there, that he asked to live forever. Wasn't in yours.
Biblically speaking, did John the Beloved live forever, supposedly? So I don't remember anything about that, but maybe.
I have been, somewhat like Matt, I've been in tons of different Christian congregations. I know Catholic doctrine. I know just about almost all the Protestant denominations of Christianity. And the only time I've ever heard anyone say that John is alive and wandering the earth is when I talk to Mormons. I'd never heard that before. So it is, and I've even gone back in the Bible and read it. It sounds a lot more like he's talking about, like, hey, you get to come to heaven, right? Like the eternal life thing.
Yeah, you get to live forever, but not here, not walking around with other evil human beings, right?
Yeah. So this probably is something that we should look up later, like exactly, is mine more directly plagiarized from the Bible? I think yours is more directly plagiarized from the Bible. And probably. these little things are being thrown in afterwards to make it more clear, right? So like saying, give me power over death. Like yours didn't say that, but that kind of takes any guesswork out of it, if you're trying to convince people that the man's still alive. Anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
And let's see, you had come in my glory, which was great. And then mine said, and shalt prophesy before nations, kindreds, tongues, and people.
Whoa, so, that's new.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So John, originally didn't really get that much. But, and again, if he's looking at a paper that John wrote, how can it later say more than it, whatever. It's so weird. Okay. And let me just, and then you have the Peter part. So now we're up to Peter, and, for what is that to thee? Let me just finish that one out. For he desired of me, and this is Peter now, right? Not John?
Yeah. Or the Lord said this unto Peter, I think.
If I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? For he desireth of me that he might bring souls unto me, but thou desirest that thou mightest speedily come unto me in my kingdom. I say unto thee, Peter, this was a good desire, but my beloved has desired that he might do more, or a greater work yet among the men, than what he has before done. So there you go. Peter was like, God, I just want to come to heaven, and, I guess Jesus. And Jesus is like, well, just so you know, John, he kind of had a better wish than you. Just saying. I'm not saying no. Peter, you can come. Wasn't bad. But, John definitely outwished you. So, there you go.
And mine cut it off. Mine just said, but my beloved has undertaken a greater work. And that was it. So it's even more like, yeah, Peter, nice try, but yeah, almost only counts on horseshoes and hand grenades. Sorry, bro.
All right. Yay. Drink. He has undertaken a greater work. Therefore, I will make him as flaming fire. Ooh. And a ministering angel. What in the world? He shall minister for those who shall be heirs of salvation who dwell on the earth. What just happened?
Well, I don't even know what you're reading because none of that is in mine.
Really?
None of that. Yeah,
Well,
that is all fresh.
Well, I gotta say, I'm glad they put it in, because that was a nice little flair for the dramatic, wasn't it? He made him a flaming fire and a ministering angel. This is exciting stuff. So I don't know. Wow. Is he walking around on fire? That doesn't seem right. But yeah, he's just gonna go around and find the heirs of salvation who dwell on the earth.
So I think that's probably pandering into like this whole restorationist idea, like finding the lost 10 tribes of Israel, which the church is all about. That's why people get their patriarchal blessings, is so they know what tribe of ancient Hebrew they're from. Like I'm from Ephraim. A lot of people from America are from Manasseh, but now that other missionary campaigns are being done elsewhere, they're finding people that are of the tribes of Reuben and of a whole bunch of other tribes.
Well,
so
can
I
I
think
just
that's kind of
say,
what that's about.
Yeah, if John's been looking for 2,000 years, he's not doing a very good job. But
right, you can meet and greet a lot of people in 2,000 years.
All right, exactly. Hopefully, some of them were heirs. Okay, why don't you take over again if you still have anything to read?
So mine is on the last verse. Verily, drink.
Okay, nope, sorry.
Go
Go back. Yeah, I have more.
Okay, all right, go for it.
And I will make thee to minister for him and for thy brother James. Wait, I make thee to minister.
What the hell is
him
happening?
And my brother James. Anyway, and unto you three I will give this power and the keys of this ministry until I come. Whoa! So now it's
so that's
all
Peter,
three of
James,
them?
and John. Yeah,
Peter.
that's saying Peter, James, and John, all three of them.
Poor Peter, he was like, I just want to go to heaven. And yeah, it sounds like Jesus is like, well, sorry, you're not coming. You're going to live on earth forever. Sorry, bro. Anyway, okay, so now there's three. Now you can do your verily.
Okay, so verily, I already did a drink on it, so I don't have to do another one. I say unto you, ye shall both have according to your desires, for ye both joy in that which ye have desired.
Oh, that's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it? Because at least in mine, in yours it was fine. But when they added that thing that all three of them are going to live forever, and then it just says both, meaning, which doesn't, you would normally not say both for three. And then also, it says you're both going to have your desire, but Peter didn't ask to live forever.
He was just like, oh, thanks. Great. This is awesome. I have to meet everybody and find all of the lost 10 tribes by myself.
Yeah, so I just got to say, for whoever added this extra stuff, you made it a lot more confusing. I know they were trying to help clarify, didn't help, because now I don't really know. I don't know who's supposed to be alive and who isn't. It's, I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway.
But I think they were kind of setting it up for when Oliver and Joe are going to go into the woods and get the priesthood, the Aaronic priesthood, from Peter, James, and John. I think that's kind of what they're setting this all up for. But I don't know. That's my best guess at the moment anyway.
Yeah, could be. All right, well, that was the end of 7. So that was fun. Fun little parchment we got to read that changed over time. And so I guess they're like physically alive, those three, maybe?
Well, so the best way that I can think to like make this work is if you watch the temple videos, cause I never went through temple ceremonies myself. I just did baptisms for the dead. I didn't actually go through the endowment ceremony, but they play this video where it's basically Peter, James, and John are, the direct commanders under Jehovah. And then Jehovah is working by direction of Elohim, right? So Peter, James, and John are kind of like these corporeal beings that are angels, but yet they have flesh and blood because they're actually resurrected beings, but they also helped to create the planet Earth in its early formative stages. So like the 7-day period where God was commanding the earth to, exist in all of its various pieces. According to the temple videos, God was just dictating that to Jehovah. Then Jehovah was like, all right, Peter, James, and John, you go like put all the trees up real quick. And then, I'll go take care of all the water. And yeah,
Come
so
on.
that's,
No. Really?
yeah, that's how it goes.
Okay, I want to
Peter,
find
James,
that.
and John.
I really want to find one of those videos. But also, where are they getting that from, right? Like, that didn't say anything like that in here. And not only that, they asked, Oliver and Joseph asked God, hey, can you let us know if John's alive? This was his response, which was super confusing. And then somehow that gets turned into they're planting trees and making the earth. That's crazy talk.
I'm sure that there are pieces bridging the gap between those, but I'm actually not aware of them personally. Like I said, I didn't study the doctrine as a believer enough to understand, the connection that they're making there. So you're almost as baffled as I am right now, just with these crazy claims about these three guys living forever, Peter, James, and John, living before Earth existed. Apparently, and being, Jesus's commanders.
And not to mention the three Nephites, right? They're still out there.
Oh yeah,
somewhere.
they're completely separate from who we're talking about right now.
And then there was the stripling soldiers who, according to the Book of Mormon, couldn't die, but then they just kind of disappeared from the story. I wonder if they're still out there. We might just have like a whole country full of immortals, and we just don't even know it. Anyway.
There's got to be an island or something somewhere, right? An undiscovered island of just pygmies now. They're actually all the Nephites that never died.
Maybe they live at the bottom of the ocean. Can't die. Who knows?
Atlantis.
Exactly.
It all makes sense.
No, but the thing about those videos you mentioned, it does seem like the church can kind of just proclaim anything they want because people don't ever like say, what's your source for that? Right? No one ever asks, where are you getting that from? Because, some of that stuff that you're talking about, it's just like, I hear you say that stuff. I mean, I heard like some of the stuff you and Chuck were saying back and forth. It's like, where does that come from? I've read most of what, the literature that's out there that all of us is supposedly based on. None of that stuff's in there. So it's either coming up or I just don't know where they're pulling it out of.
Or it's just evolved. They set out the idea like, it can be taken to its logical conclusion. In this section, mine says nothing about James, the brother of Jesus, right? But it does talk about Peter and John the Beloved. So, it can be surmised that, Peter, James, and John were kind of Jesus's main top dog disciples. And so, of course, they had something to do with the creation of the planet because Jehovah and Elohim were the drivers that were creating the planet. So obviously, Peter, James, and John in the pre-existence were disciples of Jesus, just like they were on the planet. So,
sure.
From a pre-existence standpoint, it kind of makes a little bit of sense in my mind how it could have just evolved to what it is today and didn't actually come from anywhere specifically.
Well, in the Bible, James was Jesus' physical brother, like his actual blood brother.
Well, that's kind of how it's portrayed, but there's a lot of argument about it. Maybe it was just saying like he was just his brother in Christ, kind of. Like how people from a fellow congregation say, "Oh, fellow brothers and sisters." There's a lot of dispute between whether James was actually the blood brother or he was just like, "What's up, my brother?"
Well, he did have almost no role while Jesus was alive. Like his significance in the Bible didn't happen until after Jesus was gone. And then he became the head of the Jerusalem church, which kind of sounds hereditary, which is kind of makes it the argument that Jesus was actually a political figure, actually attempting to be literally king of the Jews, and that was his heir, essentially. Anyway, I don't want to get into that.
But Brigham Young wasn't Joseph Smith's brother. He was Joseph Smith's brother in the church. And the same exact thing happened when Joseph Smith was killed, or, in the shootout, died. Brigham Young just kind of created a bunch of schisms and then took the majority of the saints out to Salt Lake with him.
Poisoned the kid and went on with his business.
Yeah. And then just got lots of wives. But yeah, I think the argument can be made both ways, to be honest.
All right, fair enough. So,
anyway, moving on.
Not really sure what just happened in 7. I think we have some people wandering around the world that may or may not be on fire. And I'm not really sure what they're doing. They're trying to save people or find tribes. We're not sure. But anyway, if you happen to meet one of them, maybe you could ask and get some clarity for us. So, all right. Section 8. Revelation given through Joseph Smith, the prophet, to Oliver Cowdery. Oh, so this one, does yours say and there? Joseph
Mine is just a revelation given to Oliver. There's no Joseph in Harmony.
Well, this time it's given through Joseph, so he's just the middleman here. Not really,
Right.
just a little conduit. At Harmony, Pennsylvania, April 1829, in the course of the translation of the Book of Mormon, Oliver, who continued to serve as scribe, writing at the prophet's dictation, desired to be endowed with the gift of translation. We read this too. The Lord responded to his supplication by granting this revelation. He told him that he had the power to translate 2 sections ago, didn't he? That's what we read with Matt and Chuck.
Yes, you are, but we're about to read the aftermath of this.
Okay.
And just for clarity's sake, mine doesn't say anything about that in the chapter heading. Mine just says given to Oliver in Harmony, and that's it.
Poof, huh?
So in reading in mine, before we hopped on Skype here, in just reading mine, I was like, what are they talking about? Oh, I know what they're talking about. That makes sense.
That's awesome. So, see, you get to read ahead.
I think we're going to be both enlightened quite a bit here.
All right, I'm excited. Why don't you start it away?
All right. Oliver, verily, verily, drink. I say unto you, that assuredly as the Lord liveth, which is your God and your Redeemer, even so sure shall you receive a knowledge of whatsoever things you shall ask in faith, with an honest heart, believing that you shall receive a knowledge concerning the engravings of old records, which are ancient, which contain those parts of my scripture of which have been spoken. By the manifestation of my spirit, yea, behold, drink. I will tell you in your mind and in your heart by the Holy Ghost, which shall come upon you and which shall dwell in your heart.
All right. So you're not actually going to see any of these engravings or these old records. It's just going to be in your mind and your heart. That's great.
Yep. This is some of the early manifestations of a burning in your bosom.
I'm also still right. I love that phrase. It's so awesome. But I'm also, I'm still confused. Why 2 sections ago, if you remember, it was, we recorded for like an hour and a half with Matt and Chuck, and the only thing that was said is that Oliver can translate too. So now it's like, he's telling him he can translate again. I don't understand why. Well, what am I talking about? It's like I'm confused why this book is repeating itself. Okay. I should probably get over that. All right, let's see what's next.
It's setting up the groundwork.
Got it. Now behold, drink. This is the spirit of revelation. Behold, this is the spirit by which Moses brought...
Oh, what?
Oh,
what just happened?
Fine,
oh my God.
Fine.
What?
Drink again. Man, this is a good chapter. I'll give you that. Okay, another behold. Right. This is the spirit by which Moses brought the children of Israel through the Red Sea on dry ground. What?
Uh-huh.
No, Moses put a staff in the ground and separated the Red Sea. This is talking about he can because he can translate?
No, he was using the spirit of the priesthood, the spirit of the Aaronic priesthood.
It does not say that. It says the spirit
I know it
of
doesn't
revelation.
say that. I know it doesn't say that because that's all that the priesthood was to these guys at this time. That's all that they thought the extent of their powers were. Remember, we talked about this earlier too. Joseph Smith's only power for a long time was just revelation until the book would come forward, right?
Uh-huh.
So this is the only power that they were actually familiar with at the time. Oh, so we have the power by the gift of God to reveal things and to, speak for, as the mouthpiece of God.
Sure.
So they considered that as like an all-encompassing, priesthood spirit that they were using in order, like Moses used to part the Red Seas, or that God used to create the planet, or, any number of other amazing miracles.
That's quite a stretch, wouldn't you say? To go from you can translate to you can create a planet and manipulate the oceans and seas. That's kind of, where are they getting that from? I guess what you're saying is they basically had one category, superpower, right? And as long as you had any of the superpower, you got all the superpower. Sounds like.
Yes. And this, the stuff that we're talking about happens later. The receiving of the Aaronic priesthood and the designation between it and the Melchizedek priesthood. And, that stuff all happens later. So we're actually bringing in stuff that's happening in the future and trying to apply it to this thing that we're reading right now. So that's why it's like weird and confusing, and it seems like a huge jump because all the stuff later hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've just never in my life heard that it was the spirit of revelation that made Moses part the Red Sea. It doesn't, it almost makes me think, I don't understand what revelation means.
Superpowered prophets, bro, man. They're awesome.
All right, therefore this is thy gift. Apply unto it, and blessed art thou. For it shall deliver you out of the hands of your enemies, when, if it were not so, they would slay you and bring your soul to destruction.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, definitely. So, there you go. It's, this is one heck of a superpower. So far, it can, translate things. It can, part the sea and, kind of make you invincible and smite your enemies. So this is not bad. I kind of want the spirit too.
And when Nephi had it and his brothers were getting all pissed off and tissy fit with him when he was building the boat, he was like, "Hey, don't touch me or you'll die."
Yeah, he went all Emperor Palpatine on him and zapped him.
And he just zapped him. Yeah, exactly. So that's this spirit of protection that is in the all-encompassing spirit of revelation.
Well, all right. This is getting good. I'm liking this power. Oh, remember these words and keep my commandments. Remember, this is your gift. Oh, thanks, Jesus. Did he put a little bow on it for him?
Just wait till you see what the gift is.
Oh, I thought we already did. I thought the gift was a superpower. Oh, fine.
Well, it is, but sort of. Just wait.
All right, I'll keep going then. Now, this is not all thy gift. This is what you were excited about. For you have another gift, which is the gift of Aaron. Well.
No, stop. No, you are wrong. It is, which is the gift of working with the rod. Thank you very much.
This is the one that Jeff was talking about.
Yeah, dude. How great is that? It says right here that Oliver his gift is with the rod.
Wow. Both of which, by the way, like if someone says like, here's your gift, it's Aaron, I'd be like, well, not gay, but thanks for the dude. You know what I mean? And then in your case, it's like, I'm going to give you a rod. It's like, also not gay, but, thanks for the rod. But anyway, sorry. But that's awesome. So the rod power just sounded so ridiculous that somewhere along the line they said, maybe we could just change that to Aaron. Because, our flock kind of, they're into this Aaron and Melchizedek thing. So we'll just pick one of those. Yeah. That's awesome.
There you go. That's what Chuck was talking about. Oh, it was so much more glorious than I thought it was going to be. Oh.
I know. I said, Aaron, you were like, no. And I was like, did I miss a drink again? Crap.
That's great. All right. I'm going to continue here.
Well, actually, right after Aaron, it says, behold, drink. It has told you many things. It has told you. Aaron? Aaron's an it now? Or the rod? See, that's the problem. They replaced rod with Aaron, and then they forgot to change the pronoun to he. So, yeah, typo. Anyway, you're up.
Let's see. So when it says it has told you these things, it has a colon after that. Mine doesn't have a verse break there. So it's about to tell us what the rod has been telling Oliver this whole time.
Exciting.
And that it goes as follows. Behold, drink. There is no other power save God that can cause this rod of nature to work in your hands, for it is the work of God.
Yeah, mine says that can cause this gift of Aaron to be with you. Yeah. So again, it sounds like he just gave him a little, what do they call it in the man meat? You got a little man meat or something like that? Anyway. All right.
Help meat.
No, help meat. But, that's what it was.
Help meat. Yeah.
Help meat. And, but in this case, it's, man. If it was Aaron with an E, that might be better. E-R-I-N.
Hey, there we go.
But hopefully Oliver likes Aaron, because apparently there is no way to get rid of it. It says that. I mean, if I'm reading this literally, right, it says there's no power that can cause this gift. I'm sorry. There's no power. Yeah. It's Aaron's with him. Stuck with him. Gift of Aaron to be with you. So hope he likes it.
And just from my history nerd perspective, they're just changing one magic to another magic. That's all they're doing. They're just exchanging one for another. Magic with a C instead of magic with a K. That's all that this is.
Right.
You're talking about having the power of Aaron, the priesthood, which is this all-encompassing, amazing gift. He gives you keys to the kingdom of God. Or you get to use this divining rod, which is complete hogwash. I mean, complete and utter nonsense. And yeah, it's just changing one for another. There's the same idea of this magic worldview. That's all it is.
Yeah, I think that when, in the 1830s, I think it was probably just more socially acceptable in some circles to be a diviner, right? Like that was, that was a respectable thing. Nowadays, that's just absurd. However, this whole Aaronic thing has caught on. So it was just easy to replace because it's something that people are used to hearing and reading. This is just, honestly though, we should just shut it now. We just stop the show and be like, we're done. Like, what other evidence do you need that this is made up? Right? I mean, you cannot find more damning evidence than the original talking about divining rods and then it just changing into Aaron. It's just like, oh, okay, fair, fine, great job, guys. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I remember, I remember when I was growing up and discussing, like Wicca and, other magic ideas, reflected against the priesthood with my dad. And it's like, yeah, the priesthood, it's the one that it's a case of special pleading, right? It's the one thing that gets a pass in all of the magic that's ever been done in all the history of man. It's the one thing that gets the stamp of legitimacy by the church. I mean, you're still doing the same thing. You, like with, divining rods, you're holding out a rod, you're saying a spell, you're waiting for the rod to turn, whatever. You're using this spiritual feeling and idea in order to direct your actions. Well, the same thing is happening with the priesthood prayers, right? If you're getting a priesthood blessing, you sit on a chair, somebody pours anointed oil over your head, and then they lay their hands on your head, and then they whisper a spell, and then magically you're supposed to get better. I mean, there's no difference. No. It's just, it's all really the same stupid stuff.
Yeah, and not only that, it's like the fact that there's a divining rod makes it sound more ridiculous, right? At least today, right? But because it's a physical thing. But there's other physical aspects of the magic spell that still exist, like oil. Why do you have to use oil? Why is that important, right? Or I don't know what other examples.
And I don't know. Not just oil.
But there's all kinds of symbolism and things you're supposed to do and handshakes and all this crazy stuff. Like, why is that still okay? But for some reason, we can't talk about a rod because that just sounds kooky. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because magic wands, they went away a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, this oil, that's special oil, that's a special brand of oil that's had a spell set over it. That's the real stuff.
Yeah.
How can you not know? That's the same stuff that'll part at the Red Seas for Moses. How did you not know that?
He's drop a little oil in the water, boom, separated. All right, let's just keep going. So let's see. Right. Therefore, doubt not, for it is the gift of God, and you shall hold it in your hands. Ooh, they're still talking about Aaron. I hope they're friends. And do marvelous works. Oh, I bet he will. And no power shall be able to take it away out of your hands, for it is the work of God. Okay. So again, if it makes more sense if you're saying rod, right? Like everything I'm reading here, actually in context makes more sense. Talking about having this thing in your hand, you know what I mean? It's like nothing can take it out of your hand. When you're talking about Aaron, and remember, it's not saying, even in mine, right? They didn't say, the gift of being able to, the Aaronic priesthood, or you're going to have Aaron's powers. It says you're getting Aaron, right? And so,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't read well if you're trying to read it as it's written, because boy, that sounds weird. He's like, Aaron, it's going to be in your hands, and you're going to do marvelous things to him, and nothing's going to stop it. So there you go. All right. So I think
Aaron is the magic man.
Aaron's going to be happy.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. So I think, mine was essentially the same, and never mind. All right. Remember that without faith, you can do nothing.
Actually, can I pause you? Mine had another verse. And therefore, whatsoever you shall ask me to tell you by that means, that I grant unto you, and you shall have knowledge concerning it. All right. So basically, God's saying, anything you ask, I'll tell you.
Okay, so yeah, everything that you read before that, so mine has that too, but everything you read before that, well, that was not in mine. So that's where I got confused.
Got it, got you mixed up. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. All right, let me continue here. Remember that without faith you can do nothing. Trifle not with these things. Do not ask for that which you ought not.
I love the verse before is like, seriously, dude, ask anything you want. Like, whatsoever you ask, I'll tell you. It'll be fine. Anything. Yeah, but don't ask stuff you're not supposed to know, though. Don't trifle. Don't trifle with that stuff. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. And it digs in even deeper. Ask that you may know the mysteries of God, and that you may translate all those ancient records which have been hid up, which are sacred, and according to your faith shall it be done unto you.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing. It's just, yeah, you can only know what I want you to know. God puts Oliver on a need to know basis here.
I mean, he's saying don't ask for things that you shouldn't know, but feel free to ask about all of the mysteries of God. Like, well, that seems like pretty open-ended. You know what I mean? Like, what can I not, what are the things I'm not supposed to ask about? Like, I would be confused if I were Oliver right now. You know what I mean?
Okay. Even more beyond that, from like a historical perspective, this is talking about Oliver was using a divining rod.
Yeah.
You use this thing, you walk around in a field with this thing, and then it points you to where water is, supposedly. How the hell is this thing supposed to tell you about all of the mysteries of God? What?
I have no answer. Magic, I think, is the answer. You know.
Magic, yes, that's always the answer. But it's just so mind-boggling. How exactly does a divining rod direct you to know all of these things? I mean, does it just can a pen or a pencil be considered a rod of God or whatever? So now then he just tells you it and you write it down? I don't know. I'm trying to parse this out, but it doesn't make any sense.
Or is he thinking that this was like a setup for him to be able to use his rod to find more plates? And then they'd be like, hey, look, we found some new stuff. And then they just never got around to it.
There's an idea. I don't know. It could be.
Just a theory. Anyway, there's one last little sentence here. Let me finish it up. Behold, drink. It is I that have spoken it, and I am the same that spake unto you from the beginning. Amen. There you go. Just to make sure.
Beautiful.
Just to make sure at the end, they're like, don't forget, I am God.
Totally legit. Don't ask questions.
In case you guys forgot. Well, let's see. Blah, blah, blah. I think we got one more.
Yeah, we can do one more, no doubt.
Alrighty. Section 9. Revelation given through Joseph Smith the prophet to Oliver Cowdery. So again, through Joe to Ollie. Boy, Ollie's getting quite a bit of FaceTime here. At Harmony, Pennsylvania, April 1829. Busy month. Goodness. Oliver is admonished to be patient and is urged to be content to write, for the time being, at the dictation of the translator, rather than to attempt to translate. Okay. What did we just read?
Yes.
Like the last the last 3 chapters now have covered Oliver. Great news. You can translate. Best gift ever. Oh, you want more? Okay. You can part the sea. Enemies can't hurt you. You can do all this stuff. And now it's like, but not yet. What? Strange ordering here.
Oh, this is so great. And once you read how it's written, I think things will start to come to we'll be able to infer some things about this what the situation was here.
But this is weird. This all happened in the same month.
Yeah. Oh no, this all happened in like a week.
Oof. So they started the week like good friends, and by the end they're mad at each other. Is that what happened? got a little spat. Anyway, all right.
Yeah. If you listen to my show, you definitely know that that's definitely the case.
All right, so give me that. Give me a refresher, because I know that I've heard this part of the history, and I remember when they had the split and he went out to Ohio. But what happened here?
No, this was before the split and they went out to Ohio. Right. That was after the Book of Mormon was published. This was when they started writing the Book of Mormon.
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna read. I'm not gonna give you anything. We'll just talk about it when it happens. Come on.
I would like the history of what happened this week. At some point. So if you want to cover that after we read, just maybe a quick synopsis. Do you think it's better to read first?
We'll cover it as we read. Okay. It's all pertinent. All of this section is very pertinent.
I like it as we go. That's what makes it fun. All right, behold, drink. I say unto you, my son, that because you did not translate according to that which you desired of me, what? And did commence again to write for my servant Joseph Smith, June, even so I would that ye should continue until you have finished this record, which I have entrusted unto him. Okay, I think I remember now.
Yes.
So Ollie said, I've had 3 different revelations that God said I'm allowed to translate. So he started to translate, and now Joe's like, bad Ollie. Right?
That's exactly it. Yes. So Oliver and Joseph were teaming up to write at the Book of Mormon at this point. And Joseph was doing all the dictating and Oliver was doing all of the writing. And at some point, Oliver was like, dude, I'm kind of sick of writing. Can I take a turn like with the stone to try and dictate and then you can write for me? And he did for who knows how much. And Joseph was like, yeah, no, I don't really like it this way. I'm just going to keep dictating to you and you write it. Meh.
Yeah, that sounds like what has happened. So there you go. Bummer. Yep. Sorry, Ollie. I don't know why the last 3 sections were in this book. It seems like we could probably just cut those out. Big waste of time to tell Ollie he can translate. Now he's in trouble for it. Super weird. Okay. And then, behold, drink. Other records have I, that I will give unto you power that you may assist to translate. So honestly, Bryce, this goes back to the divining rod theory, that maybe that was what they were trying to set up. That don't worry, after we're done this book, you just wander out in the field with your rods and say that you found some other ancient record, and we'll do another book. And that'll be your turn, Ollie. You know what I mean?
Or maybe the sealed portion of the plates. Because everybody wonders what the sealed portion is, where it went. And right now there's a guy that's alive that says that he had the plates delivered to him, and he's written like 5 more volumes of the Book of Mormon. The guy's name escapes me, but he says that he has the sealed portion of the plates. And of course, when there was schisms, Sidney Rigdon claimed that he had the sealed portion of the plates, and everybody's wondering what's in this sealed portion. So I think at this time, Joseph was like, hey, so I'm going to read this first part, like I'm going to dictate this first part to you, but then once we get on to other stuff, once we release more versions, then, you're going to be responsible for those, and that's going to be the sealed portion of the plates.
Sure.
It's my guess, but I don't know.
Yeah. I love that people are wondering what's in the sealed portion of the plates. Do people know that those aren't a real thing, right? I mean, there's not actually plates anywhere.
Joseph had a set of them, and according to Mormon history, the Hill Cumorah has a cave in it that's full of thousands and thousands and thousands of metal plates that a 6-mule team couldn't draw out. So.
I know that you've got good backing of that, but it sounds like quite an exaggeration. I think that might have been made up.
That's a Journal of Discourses, man. Journal of Discourses written by Brigham Young himself, a prophet of God, said that, so it must be true, right?
Yeah, just as credible as everything else we've read so far. Anyway, okay, sorry. You take over where it says be patient.
Be patient, my son, for it is wisdom in me, and it is not expedient that you should translate at this present time.
There you go.
Oh, there it is. Yep. You got other stuff to do. You can't translate. Behold the
Drink!
Oh, drink.
Behold is a sneaky one, isn't it? Anyway.
It is. It just sneaks in there. So we're even now on this one.
Yeah, we are.
The work which you are called to do is to write for my servant Joseph. And behold, drink. It is because that you did not continue as you commenced, and you begun to translate, that I have taken away this privilege from you. Do not.
I'm just, again, it's like, if I were Oliver, I'd be like, well, what? You've given me 3 revelations telling me I was supposed to do this, and now I'm doing it, and it's like, you didn't do what you were told. I did exactly what I was told.
Exactly. Yes, I have a personal theory here. I think that what he wrote was better than what Joseph was writing. And Joseph was like, oh, I can't have this. I can't have my, first in command guy doing better than me. So I'm going to come up with a revelation that just makes it so he can't reveal anything. So yeah, I win. You suck it, Ollie.
Did Joe actually write anything? I mean, surely there's like letters and stuff that he wrote, right? So he could write. He's not illiterate. Yeah. Okay.
No, actually, we have a piece of writing from him from 1829, from this time, and his handwriting is beautiful.
Oh.
He was quite educated. Don't get me wrong.
That's right. Sorry.
He just didn't like to write stuff because it took so long. He'd much rather talk and have people write stuff for him.
Well, I mean, that's true of just about everything, right? If you can get someone else to do it, yeah.
Why not, right?
I don't mind mowing the grass, but I enjoy paying someone else to do it even more. So there you go.
And just sitting on my porch and watching them work makes me feel great about myself.
I feel wonderful. So I can relate to him on that one. Delegation is just fine, or outsourcing services. Yeah, I'm fine with
same
that.
thing.
just the part that bugs me again is that you spent 3 revelations telling him to do a thing, and then when he did the thing, you got mad at him for doing the thing. But anyway, whatever.
Because Oliver was better.
Yeah,
that's just my personal opinion. I think that's what happened.
It fits. Anyway, do not murmur, my son, which, murmur just means like, don't whine about it, right? Don't bitch.
Right. Or
suck it up.
Blaspheme. Yeah. Or whatever.
Just suck it up.
Yeah.
For it is wisdom in me that I have dealt with you after this manner. There you go.
Ooh,
behold, drink. You have not understood. Well, I don't understand. Again. So you just told him. Anyway. You have supposed that I would give it unto you because you told him that. Anyway, sorry. When you took no thought, save it was to ask me. This is so
contradictory.
Yes, I don't know what to make of this.
It said directly that if there's anything that you want to know, just ask me. And now it's saying, you took no thought when you asked me about it, so you can't do it.
I know.
It's like
I
so
know.
contradictory.
And he went on and on bragging about how awesome his powers of revelation are, and you're just going to be the man. And then the second he tries to do it, it's just like, how could you? Why did you suppose that you were allowed to do that? Well, I don't know, God, because you freaking told me to 3 times over. You made me read it 3 times.
Hey, David, stop murmuring.
I am murmuring. I am all murmured up about this. All right, you keep reading. I'm just getting mad. Getting mad at God here.
But behold, drink. I say unto you that you must study it out in your mind. What? Go in the corner and think about what you did.
He is giving him a timeout.
Then you must ask me if it be right. And if it is right, I will cause that your bosom shall burn within you.
Now we're talking. That's where it comes from.
Oh, that's great. Is that the first time that this phrase has come up in here?
Yeah, absolutely. I've never read that before.
Perfect. So here it is, April of 1829, when Joseph Smith and Oliver were trying to translate, and Oliver translated better than Joseph, and Joseph said, no, you're wrong. Go talk to God about it, and God will give you a burning in your bosom.
Yeah, you have to stay in time out until you have a burning in your bosom. Pretty much.
Until you feel bad about what you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Let's see. Therefore, you shall feel that it is right. But if it be not right, you shall have no such feelings. But you shall have a stupor of thought that shall cause you to forget the thing which is wrong. Therefore, let's just talk about that.
Yeah,
that's okay. So in the Mormon Church, when you're faced with a decision that you have to ask God about, I remember when I was with my parents car shopping. This is one thing we did. We went around and we went to a bunch of different car lots, and then we we looked at this one car, and we sat in the cab of the car, and we asked God, is this the right decision to buy this car? And the idea is, if it is right, then God will give you a burning in your bosom. If not, then you'll just sort of forget about it and you won't think about it anymore.
People make major life choices this way. This is how they do that.
Oh, yes. All the time. All of the time. That's why rates of fraud are so high. Mormon on Mormon fraud are so high in Utah.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's this idea that if you forget it or you have this stupor of thought, then that's the negative answer. Or it's God saying that, it's up to you to decide, but it's not really my will. I remember when we were sitting in the cab of this car and we were all sitting there praying fervently, seeing if we wanted this car. All of us just kind of, we finished out the prayer and we all kind of looked up at each other and looked around and we all said, well, I didn't really feel anything. Did you feel anything? No, I didn't feel anything. Well, I guess that means that God wants it to be up to us. So let's go buy this car. And we did.
What?
Yeah.
So you were going to buy the car regardless?
Pretty much, yeah. But we were just looking for the burning in our bosom to make sure that God wanted us to buy the car.
And you didn't get the burning, but you bought it anyway.
We bought it anyway.
Well, the key is really, because the way I read this is it's like, if it's wrong, then basically that it's wrong to think about it too much, right? So if you sit there and try and reason it out, wrong. You just need to wait for some sort of emotional feeling because you don't want to get yourself in a stupor of thought. Can't have that.
But yeah, thinking about it it's kind of like meditating on this thing, right? Because people can come to all sorts of amazing ideas and revelations and perspectives on reality when they sit and just, ponder something for a long time or they meditate on something.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it says. It's just like, do this, this Hindu style, like Om meditation and, God will tell you if he wants it or not. Yeah.
By the way,
kind of like a confirmation bias.
I really hope that the car dealer saw all that. Could you imagine if his family gets in and we have to pray before we buy the car? I'd be like,
we told him that.
Oh, Okay.
We told him that, dude. We were just like, yeah, just give us a few minutes with the car and we'll come back to you with a decision.
That's
and
fantastic.
it was pretty much direct. I'm sure they see it all the time.
So did you go back to him and say, bad news, no burning in the bosom. Good news, find the car anyway. I mean, fun stuff.
No, we didn't say the first part. We just said, buy in the car.
Wonderful.
He's, okay, I'll drop the papers.
Okay.
It was great.
All right,
that's,
let's
that's
just
God
keep going.
for you.
Now, if you had known this, you could have translated.
Hang on. I didn't quite finish.
Oh, sorry.
The last bit there. So, you'll forget the thing which is wrong. Therefore, you cannot write that which is sacred, save it be given you from me.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought he had given it to him, but whatever. Now, if you had known this, you could have translated. Known what? If he had known what? If that it was wrong? I am so confused. He's basically
so if
saying,
he was writing it with the burning in his bosom, it would have been right, so he's just like emotionally overwhelmed while writing this thing. But apparently he wasn't, so it's wrong. I guess.
Yeah. The litmus test that you have to pass in order to figure out if you're supposed to do or not do something is it just wouldn't work. I don't understand. I actually do not get. If I'm Oliver right now, I would be saying, I do not understand when I am and am not supposed to translate. I do not understand how I'm supposed to figure that out. I don't know what it just, none of it makes sense. The only thing we got is this burning in the bosom thing, which, fine, I'll give you that. But it's saying, if you'd known that, like if he'd known that he had to get a burning, this is weird. I'm just going to keep going. Nevertheless, it is not expedient that you should translate now. You've made that abundantly clear. Behold, drink. It was expedient when you commenced. What? But you feared, and the time is past, and it is not expedient now. What in the world?
That's so great. So apparently Oliver didn't quite carpe diem the right way, and God's like, yeah, you kind of missed your window, dude.
Yeah, he did. Because you were afraid? What's he afraid of? This is really, it's fun stuff. I gotta say, you were right.
I do remember.
Before we started recording, everybody, Bryce said, this is going to be a fun one for you, and it has not disappointed. Boy, this is something. So because he got afraid? It says because he feared?
Yes.
So it was you were good to go, then you got afraid, and then I shut the window on you.
Yeah, pretty much. You kind of stuck your fingers out there trying to, dive into the pool, but no, shut it down. But I remember that this was portrayed, when I saw it wasn't the Legacy movie, but it was the newer Joseph Smith movie in the Legacy Theater. They showed this happen. They had Joseph Smith and Oliver sitting at a table. Joseph Smith had the golden plates in front of him, and he had these weird looking pair of glasses that he was looking through. I'm dead serious. This is portrayed in the movie.
I believe you.
And then at one point, Oliver decides that he wants to try translating. I wasn't aware that it was all based on this when I was watching the movie last time. So Joseph pushes the plates over to Oliver, and he tries to translate, and he's just dumbfounded. He's just stuttering. And then Joseph takes the plates back, and he says, "It's not expedient of the Lord to have you do this right now." Huh. Because apparently he was so fearful of it, he was stuttering and mumbling to himself, had no idea what he was saying. So yeah, they actually portrayed this fear that was in him because of it.
Well, that I gotta say, I wouldn't have painted that picture, but that actually does kind of connect the dots a little if it went down that way. Except that, but this is, I don't know, that makes it seem like it happened really fast. Like he just had the plates for a second, couldn't do it, and gave it back. This kind of made it sound like no, he was translating. You know what I mean? He just God was just pissed about it.
Well, and I think the portrayal, that's kind of where the whitewashing of the history comes in, is the portrayal doesn't necessarily reflect what we're seeing here, because this happened over a week's time maybe, and we don't know what Oliver wrote down, but we know that he wrote down something. We don't have any of it. We don't have his own testimony of what he was writing down at the time, but he didn't just sit there dumbfounded, like he didn't know what he was doing. He actually wrote some stuff down, but that wasn't exactly portrayed in here, and that's where it kind of gets lost, because the movie wants you to see Joseph Smith as the one true, all amazing revelator, translator, prophet. But if Oliver Cowdery can grab the set of plates and look through the glasses and say, "Oh, this is what it says," then suddenly Joseph Smith isn't all that cool anymore if anybody can do it.
All right. No, I get what they're doing with it. It makes sense. It just doesn't, I don't know that it exactly reads that way. So once again, trying to whitewash the history.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we now? 4, do not behold, drink. Boy, that was a sneaky one. Do not behold. Still counts though. But I have given unto my servant Joseph sufficient strength. Do you not behold? So basically, Joe's strong. You're not. Okay. Whereby it is made up and sorry. Yeah, maybe.
Yep, pretty much.
And neither of you have I condemned. Oh, so there you go. Because God hasn't condemned them, which I assume means like, I don't know, death, then it must be true. Because there you go. Couldn't be made up. They're not condemned. That logic adds up for me.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, it must not be made up then in that case, right?
Yeah. Well, and my interpretation of all of the Mormon literature must be spot on because I have not been struck by lightning. So it must be.
It's because you haven't touched Nephi's hand yet.
Well, that is true. If he, hopefully he's not one of the 3. He'd, that'd be scary. You want to finish it up?
Sure. Do this thing which I have commanded you, and you shall prosper.
Oh.
Be faithful and yield to no temptation.
Oh.
Stand fast in the work wherewith I have called you, and the hair of your head shall not be lost, and you shall be lifted up at the last day. Amen.
Can I take offense to the fact that losing hair on your head is somehow like an insult? Because, I don't know. I'm pretty happy without hair on my head.
Okay, so just given a couple of historical instances, that revelation was completely proved wrong when Joseph Smith was tarred and feathered. And, when they pull off the tar after it dries on your skin, it pulls off chunks of skin and hair and everything else. So not only was the hair on the top of his head taken or hurt or whatever it said, it was lost. There was chunks of skin that were lost too. So yeah, that one's proven wrong already.
Ugh. Well, technically, he was telling Oliver he wouldn't lose hair, right?
Yeah, but it was from the mouth of God, and it is kind of, it seems like it was kind of given to both of them.
No, it's fair.
It was like one of those all-encompassing revelations that as long as everybody follows this, not a single hair on anybody's head is going to be lost.
Oh, sure. And even if you don't, I mean, that one was very specific, right? A very specific thing, but it said before, like, no one can hurt you. You know what I mean? Your enemies won't be able to get anywhere near you, so, yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that can be quote mined out of here, too, is, oftentimes, I remember doing talks for my duty to God, standing up on the pulpit and giving talks as a little 14, 15-year-old. And that's what I would do is I would go find in the topical guide or in the, just any scripture or the index, find something that supported what I was saying. And then I would go snag that one verse and then say it, parrot it back, much like everybody does in the Bible. Well, that's something that can be very easily be taken out of there. Stand fast in the work wherewith I have called you, and the hair of your head shall not be lost, and you shall be lifted up at the last day. That's just ripe for quote mining or citing or using to, as like an object lesson for, whatever you're teaching about in the church. It's perfect.
I don't know. It's still, to me, I would think like, what? So because I don't have hair, I went bald, so I must be evil or not following God's commandments?
No, your skin is white enough. You're not evil.
That's true. I am delightsome. Forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
But can I back you up a second? You said when you were 14 and preaching? What's going on in these churches? Well, I mean, really, what?
Okay, so let me back up even further. So your duty to God and your young women's medallion, those are the two things for men and women that they have to do as they're growing up through their teenage years in the church.
They're called, so for guys, it's called duty to God.
Yeah, your duty to God. And it's usually coupled with
juvenile giggle on that one at all? All right. And then the other one's called the Medallion of Women?
Yeah, the Young Women's Medallion.
Young Women's
That's
Medallion.
What they work for.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's this little gold medallion that they get when they complete all of their requirements.
So it's like the Mormon equivalent of like Hitler Youth or something like that, right?
That's exactly what it is. And in each, you get a new booklet for your deacon, teacher, and priest. So you get 3 separate booklets, and you get 2 years to do all of the requirements in them. Well, a lot of the requirements are like, go do service projects or go tie knots or go, make a meal for your family, once every week or whatever for a month. I mean, the useful stuff. And also some of them are you have to give talks in sacrament meeting, over the entire congregation. So you'll come to that requirement in the duty to God. You'll go to the bishop and say, hey, I need to fill out this requirement. Can I give a talk? And he'll say, yes, this is your topic. And it needs to be anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. And you do that. And yeah, I think I gave you're required to give 2 of them every 2 years. So, or 2 every year or something. So it's fairly frequent that you're a little teenager with, shaking knees up in front of the entire congregation of 200 or 300 people, just spewing about Mormonism and how great it is.
But everyone your age kind of has to do it. So it's not like you're being singled out. Everyone kind of has to take their turn.
Yeah, pretty much. You see it all the time. Like sacrament meeting is very, very regimented, and then like the last half of it they dedicate to talks given by people, and that's usually what those are.
Oh.
So like all of your friends usually go up and do it.
Is this when people bear their testimony? I think it's called.
No, that's testimony meeting. That's once a month.
Okay, so
but
this
is kind of the same thing.
But that one's much more ad hoc, right? You're supposed to get up there and kind of open mic.
You just riff.
But
exactly.
What you're talking about, you did have to kind of prepare something and then just get up there and say it. And then, all right.
And that's where I kind of got the ability to write, where I kind of honed my abilities in writing and public speaking was the church.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I would have had absolutely no access to it. And then of course I joined the debate team in high school and I was like, ooh, I like fighting with people.
And you've never stopped.
Yeah, I feel so great.
And by the way, I was not implying that the Mormons are Nazis when I made the Hitler Youth reference. It was just I thought of another organization that indoctrinated children into a certain ideology, and it seemed to fit. So no one I don't want angry hate mail about that one.
I totally took it that way, and I openly agreed with it because that seems like a very, very nice analog to it. And even the Hitler Youth, when they were deployed out into action, Hitler was like, no, you cannot use them. They're 12-year-old boys. You can't.
Yeah.
But they did,
that
of course,
actually
they didn't have any more men
shocking left. That Hitler was the one against that. Yeah. So we're going to we're such history nerds, Bryce. We could just go on and on about this stuff. But yeah.
No kidding.
That was a little bit surprising to me too, hearing that it was his general saying, send the little boys out into combat. Hitler was like, what?
Oh, yeah.
No, that's mean. You're like, what? Aren't you Hitler? Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we could talk about it forever. That's not Mormons. That's not Mormonism, I mean.
All right. Well, thanks for for obviously all the history. This really was a fun one. You're right.
That was a good one.
You were bouncing in your seat when I said Aaron, and you were like, it's a dividing rod. Yeah. That was pretty awesome. And then poor Oliver just getting ping-ponged around. God likes him. God doesn't like him. You have gifts. You don't have gifts. It's, I'm feeling bad for the guy. But, I know listening to your show, I'm probably going to have to continue to feel bad for him because he kind of gets crapped on quite a bit, it would seem.
Yeah, I was going to say that, man. He gets the short end of every shaft. He just gets screwed so hard all of the time. You have to feel bad for him.
Yeah. Yeah, poor guy. Him and Martin Harris, he also got, he just got conned. He didn't really get, just screwed around with. Like Joe Stewart
true.
Ollie.
True. But Oliver kind of had the propensity to do that to Martin as well, because Oliver was one of the people that Joseph used as a prop to help convince Martin.
Fair.
Him and David Whitmer. So
his hands aren't completely clean.
Oh, no. Definitely not.
No.
I mean, they both knew what was going on.
Well, of course they knew. He had a rod. He knew everything. All he had to do was ask.
The rod of Aaron. Oh, yes.
All right. So that was fun. Definitely a fun episode. And thanks for the little explanation of what a Mormon church service is like. That's I still need to go someday, but not today. Anyway, so thanks everyone for listening again. And I know I'm behind on thanking all of the patrons and people that have donated. Next episode, I'm going to put a big list together and we'll thank everybody. But for now, I've just been honestly just with schedules, especially with the holiday. Oh, happy Thanksgiving, Bryce. That just passed. So
happy Thanksgiving, David.
And so anyway, we'll catch up with all that stuff next week or 2 weeks. And otherwise, that's about it. Well, only last thing I need to say is Boomer Sooner Oklahoma has won the Big 12 football championship this year, and it looks like they're going to be going to the national tournament. So I'm very excited. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there. That's my alma mater. I have to brag a little.
Like my eyes just went blank and I forgot my name for 3 seconds just now. I don't know what you're talking about.
College football. It's the only sport.
Oh, okay, great.
It's the only sport I actually pay attention to. It just so happens that my team is doing quite well. So anyway, just thought
congratulations.
Because I have my own show, I get to say that. If you don't like the Sooners, oh well. Sorry. We won.
And you suck it. Yeah. I mean, the majority of people that listen to this are either at BYU or U of U fans. So yeah, I don't think that that's their team.
Well, you can root for them now that I like them. There you go. Yeah, everyone.
Sure.
Let's all
Why not?
Let's all gather together and pray to God and get warm bosom feelings for Oklahoma to keep winning. That's all we need to do. And take care of it. All right. Okay.
Prayer, the most useful thing in sports.
Let's end this thing. So
yes.
With that,
thanks for having me on. That was fun.
You bet, Bryce. It's awesome to have you. All right. Talk to you later, and goodbye, everyone.
See ya.
This song is licensed for use within this podcast. All song and copyright information can be found at www.mybookofmormonpodcast.com.